Hello, TPP Universe. My name is Christopher Billings, and welcome to the Blood and Glory pre-show. The the countdown is on for Craig Hazard versus Extreme number 2. And I firmly believe that tonight will help solidify Craig Hazard's current reign as our TPP champion. And it goes without saying that there's plenty of individuals that could have the ability to hold the championship belt, but it takes a certain type of individual to carry it with pride and to be a champion that everyone can enjoy. Now we have two very special pre-show matches for you tonight. Before the actual Blood and Glory event, and I'm excited to get to call these. I think that you're excited as well. I mean, if you weren't excited, I don't think you'd be on the pre-show. So that's one of the reasons why I say that I think we're all excited in this situation. We get to see some really great competitors going out here doing the best that they can to do everything in their power to win their matches. And we're going to get into the first pre-show matchup here. It's featuring Michael Kelly and a young man named George Phillips. And first impressions on these two young men. I've talked to them a couple of times in the back, and they both recently signed developmental contracts. And I believe that Michael Kelly, he's got a great future ahead of him. He's still learning the ropes, but I believe firmly that he has a great future ahead of him. And I have no qualm at all with seeing Michael Kelly participating in any TPP environment, and I think that he's going to bring something interesting to the developmental scene here within our developmental program. The same for George Phillips. I believe that he's going to do something as well that's going to be very unique and interesting, and I think this is a good paired matchup tonight that TPP management has put together on this pre-show, giving both of these young men an opportunity to really get themselves out there. And you don't see that very often, but this pre-show, the crowd right now is very surreal. Even on the pre-show right now, as George Phillips is coming to the ring, I know the volume is turned down, but in my headset I can hear how loud the fans are, and they're jacked. They're ready for Blood and Glory tonight. We're all ready for Blood and Glory. And of course, like I said, you wouldn't be here right now if you weren't ready for it. So I'm ready, you're ready. Let's get this pre-show underway. The first developmental match of the night, Michael Kelly and George Phillips. I'm going to do some live commentary for you here because this is happening live down in the ring, and I'm backstage right now behind a beautiful green screen, and it's beautiful standing tie up there, ends in deadlock. And as you see, these are both developmental talents, and they're both looking to make an impact. And it's a great idea to make a big impact when you're at a pre-show for a pay-per-view, because management watches the pre-show matches very closely. They watch what happens in the match. They watch what goes on because they want to see if that specific talent will be good enough to go up to the frontline show or things of that nature. And I, for one, am super excited. These two young men, they both look like they could have long careers here in the power plant, and a beautiful scoop slam there into the ropes from George Phillips to Michael Kelly. And now Phillips is starting to get a little bit of control here in this matchup, and it makes you wonder, can Michael Kelly turn this around? Because right now George Phillips is going to work on Michael Kelly. He's got the octopus stretch here in the corner, which is an illegal hold, as you saw senior official Terry Gates was admonishing. And now Michael Kelly's starting to get aggressive a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit of an aggressive side, but he needs to follow up with that and keep the pressure on. Otherwise, George Phillips is going to make quick work of him tonight. And the last thing you want to do on developmental, I don't think it ultimately matters whether you win or lose, but you don't want to lose. You want to win, because it's always nice getting that W in the column there instead of the L for loss. And as you saw, Michael Kelly distracted by the referee there, maybe distracted by a fan, but George Phillips able to capitalize on the situation. And now George Phillips is in control here. Big shoulder thrust in the corner. And now like I said, now look at George Phillips putting Michael Kelly into the turnbuckle post there the hard way, shoulder first. That will tear tendons. That will rip muscles. And George Phillips, he's looking good. Both Michael Kelly and George Phillips are both looking good. They have very good pacing, from what I can see. They're pacing themselves in this matchup. They're not taking too high of a risk, and that's wise for them, because they don't want to hurt themselves in their first match. And I've seen that happen before. We've had superstars debut and hurt themselves in their first match, and that's just not what you want to do. And now George Phillips, big drop kick right to the side of the head there, and Michael Kelly thinking about it, coming to the announce table, the vacant announce table right now. And what is Michael Kelly back into the ring, starting with the strikes on George Phillips, and Michael Kelly there bringing George Phillips in the hard way, a big elbow drop there, and now Michael Kelly starting to pick the limbs apart. Slowly but surely, he's working over the body. He's just taking his time, and there's nothing wrong with taking your time. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. And now Michael Kelly looks like he has firm control here, and that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. When you can gain control of a match, you can dictate the pace and do things however you want to do them. And as you see, Michael Kelly on the outside, wasn't sure what he was doing there, but it looks like he's going to pay for it. A big suplex here to the inside of the ring from George Phillips, and then that spinal tap there right to the mid and lower back. That's just a foot being kicked into your spine, and that does not feel good. No matter how strong or how muscular you are, that will not feel good being kicked in the soft spot of your back. And now George Phillips, a beautiful, beautiful swinging neck breaker out of the corner. And this is a very paced match. It's very, very paced. Normally when you see matches, they're a little bit more faster paced, but this is a very slow paced technical matchup. That's what this is. This matchup is, like I said, there's not a lot of high impact things being done right now, and I can understand why, because neither one of these two young men want to hurt themselves. And George Phillips is looking phenomenal, and Michael Kelly's looking phenomenal. And a big running clothesline there from George Phillips. But like I was saying, I mean, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. And of course, these two young men, they may be a little nervous. I mean, they do have thousands of people watching them right now. They're watching them live in the arena, and they don't have me out there, so they can't see me nodding my head in approval of things. Like I said, I'm backstage here, so they can't see me. So maybe they are a little nervous. They've just got Terry Gates out there right now, and then the fans. So they may be a little nervous, but hopefully, after a couple of matches, they'll get into a different pace for themselves. And you never know. I mean, either one of these two men could become a future world champion. It's possible. Anything is possible in the world we live in, and that's one of the beautiful things about being a wrestler and things like that. Anything is possible. You would be surprised. I've seen the David and Goliath matches. I've seen Goliath versus Goliath, and the David versus Goliaths are always entertaining because you always get to see that small guy come up and just dish it out to the big guy and give him everything he's got. And that's what it's all about. And that's what these developmental guys want to do. They want to be that story. They want to be that guy that ends up becoming the top dog or getting there. They want to get there. And now just back and forth strikes there from George Phillips and Michael Kelly. And now Michael Kelly getting the better of the situation. A knee to the abdomen there. Very low knee, might I add. A elbow drop right out of the corner. And now Michael Kelly hooks the far leg. Terry Gates, 1, 2. Only a 2 count, though, for Michael Kelly. And this shows the resiliency of these young men, able to kick out of a move like that. Like I said, that was a very low knee by Michael Kelly. Very, very low. And that elbow drop did not help the situation any. But now George Phillips, starting to show an aggressive side here. He's starting to get maybe into a little bit of a flow here for himself to, be able to do something. And that huge double knee there in the corner, a running double knee, using all his momentum, jumping airborne, and then slamming his knees into his face. That's going to leave a mark, no doubt about it. And now wait a second. Oh wow, that face buster. And Michael Kelly wisely rolled out of the ring. As you see, Michael Kelly holding his abdomen. So Michael Kelly definitely feeling the effects here. And now Michael Kelly taunting to the fans as senior official Terry Gates still taunting. And a kick to the abdomen. And then, a kick right to the side of the skull from George Phillips. George Phillips, that might be it. Into the cover. 1, 2, almost a 3 count there for George Phillips on the pre-show. Wait a second, Michael Kelly. Oh, wow, that was a modified reverse neck breaker of sorts. Into the cover. 1, 2, only a 2 count though for Michael Kelly. That was so quick. I almost didn't catch it, ladies and gentlemen. And now George Phillips trying to get something going again, and it looks like George Phillips going with what worked, and he's doing that octopus stretch on the ropes again, which is a wise move to do. He leaps off, big drop kick, a missile drop kick from the top rope using all of his body weight. And now George Phillips, looks like he's got a clover leaf locked in. Terry Gates in position here to see if Michael Kelly will tap out. Michael Kelly is crawling. He's trying to crawl to the ropes. He's got a long ways to go. And George Phillips looks like he's trying to keep his grip in. It looks like Michael Kelly might be slipping out a little bit. And, oh, wow, Michael Kelly there, just enough to kick Phillips off of him. And now Michael Kelly whips Phillips into the ropes. A quick duck under there. Another duck under. And then, beautiful, beautiful standing drop kick there from Michael Kelly. And now Michael Kelly, a big raised knee lift there on the ground, right to the side of the skull, into the cover. 1, 2, only a 2 count though for Michael Kelly, as George Phillips still showing his resiliency and his ability to kick out. And like I've said on numerous occasions throughout my years of commentating and my years of journalism, resiliency comes in so many shapes and forms. But a big brain buster there. Hooks the far leg. 1, 2, and only a 2 count there. And resiliency comes in all shapes and forms. And those who are the most resilient tend to go pretty far in their careers. They tend to be able to take a lot of damage, both verbally, emotionally, physically, mentally. But a big slap, and now Michael Kelly out of the ring, and big right hand. And the resiliency factors were going to come into play here. A big jumping elbow drop from Michael Kelly. And Michael Kelly starting to get into a groove here. And I think that's what he needs to do. Michael Kelly going to the top rope. Leaps off. Big body splash. And now Michael Kelly, he's calling for something here. He's George Phillips getting back to his feet. Michael Kelly, he's looking for something. Wait a second. Michael Kelly. This is a fisherman. A rotating fisherman like a 3-handled credenza. 1, 2, 3, and Michael Kelly picks up an impressive win on the pre-show here for Blood and Glory. That's impressive. No matter how you word it or how you think it's going to happen, that was impressive. My hat's off to young Michael Kelly and to George Phillips. I mean, they both went out there, and it's hard to go on as the very first person on the show, even if it is the pre-show. It's hard to be the first people out there when the fans are first getting in, especially at this stage in their careers, because a lot of the fans don't know who they are. And so hopefully these two young men stick around, because I think that they both have a very bright and promising future for them. And I'm excited. And I think that was a great way to start the pre-show for Blood and Glory tonight. I don't think that we could have started it a better way. And there's a lot of there's been a lot of animosity in the TPP locker room over the course of the past month. Directed at Die Hard, directed at TCO, directed at A&D, directed at so many. It's been a very tense situation the past month, especially with Bryson being absent most of the month. There was a lot of people that were questioning what was going to happen to him, what were the repercussions he was going to face. I was made aware that Bryson did not suffer any repercussions for not showing up, and I think that is unfair. That is unfair to people like Damian Gamer, who, when his child gave when his wife gave birth to his child, he was able to miss one show, but the following show he was fine. And I don't think that is okay for something like that to happen. And unfortunately, I guess it is what it is in the locker room area. Bryson, is in cahoots with Die Hard, as everybody knows. He's in TCO, so a little bit of special treatment there for Bryson. But hopefully tonight, Damien Gamer can rectify that situation and dish out some pain to to Bryson. Now, if you missed it, there's still time to enter, ladies and gentlemen. You have until the end of the pre-show to get your contest entries in. For every pre-show event, every predictions video that we upload to YouTube, if you enter that by saying who you think is going to win each match. You have to include all the matches on the card that are scheduled to compete, all the main show matches. If you get all those right, you are automatically entered into a contest to win either Microsoft Xbox Live points or Sony PlayStation 3 cards. And the winner will be chosen at random. There's going to be one winner, but if you guess all the matches right, who's going to win those matches the right way, you're automatically entered. It's free for you to enter to do that. You'll be contacted via YouTube if you're the chosen winner. And like I said, you can still enter right now. It's one entry per person, but you can still enter right now. All you have to do is go onto the Blood and Glory predictions video, put in your 6 predictions for who you think is going to win. And if you're right, then guess what? You could potentially win based on whatever console you play on. You could win Xbox or Microsoft points. Or, so PlayStation or Xbox currency. So that's... I wanted to touch base on that, let you know that we're going to do that every month, ladies and gentlemen. Just a way for TPP Entertainment to give back to you, the viewers, because you're the reason why TPP Entertainment exists. You're the reason why we're all here, why these young men on the pre-show, they come in and they want to make a name for themselves because they want you to be able to see what they can do, and they want to give you the best that they have available. And that is the ultimate... That is the best way we can say thank you to you right now is by offering the winner, X amount of points for guessing the right predictions for who's going to win matches, and it doesn't count for the pre-show. So if you guessed wrong on the pre-show matches, that's okay, because the pre-show it's interesting enough as it is, with the pre-show. So you get the luxury of being able to be incorrect on the pre-show matches, but the actual main card matches, you have to guess all of them correct to get a correct entry drawing. And when you do post your entrant or your contest entrance, you do need to put there's a syllabus laid out. It says match 1, match 2, match 3, match 4, match 5, and match 6. For match 1, you need to put who's going to defeat who, and as long as all of 6 of those are correct, then you will be entered as a correct contest entry. And then, so like I said, I just wanted to let you guys know that we are still doing that. You have until the end of the pre-show right now. So you've got about 40 minutes left that you can enter the contest and potentially win some Microsoft or Sony points tonight, which you got to admit that would be that'd be pretty cool to watch a TPP event, and then at the end of the event, you get a message from myself on YouTube letting you know that you won some points. And, we'll just ask you we'll give you the number, and that's all you got to do. And then also, just so everybody knows, that the official theme song of Blood and Glory is called No Tomorrow. It is by an unsigned artist named Eidits. That is EIDITS. And you can find them on SoundClick.com. This young man that performed this song, the song is actually about overcoming your odds, but without returning to where you were before. And for some people, they may not understand what that means, and what that means is perfectly, it almost describes Blood and Glory to a T, as everybody involved tonight, tonight is going to help shape the way that their futures are determined, the way that their careers are going to be outlined, and everybody wants to pick up a big win tonight here at Blood and Glory as we're getting ready to head into our September event, Network Collision, which you, the viewers, get to choose the match stipulations. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our second pre-show matchup. This young man, James Anderson, he's been chomping at the bit trying to get onto a pre-show. He's been chomping and chomping and chomping, and now he's finally got his opportunity. He's been trying to get into so many different programs, and now he's on the TPP developmental program. James Anderson, this young man, I firmly believe in my heart that James Anderson can become a huge superstar anywhere he goes. All he needs to do is he needs that opportunity, and that is what we at the Power Plant do. That is what we in TPP Entertainment do. We give everybody that opportunity. And James Anderson, though, he's gonna have a kind of tough matchup tonight. I don't know much about his opponent Darrell, but from what I've seen of him, it's not going to be a cakewalk for James Anderson. I think it's going to be a little bit of a workout here for James Anderson, but I don't want Darrell to sell James Anderson short either, because James Anderson, he can go. This kid can go. All four of these young men that have been on this pre-show so far, including Darrell and James Anderson, all four of these young men can go. And I firmly believe that all four of these young men at some point in time, hopefully, will be shown on Frontline or on Livewire, wherever. Hopefully, I will get to call matches for them while I'm sitting at ringside, because, like I said, in the first match, for these young men right now, the butterflies that they must be feeling in their stomach, I can only imagine, because when I go out for each and every episode to do commentary, if you're not a commentator, you don't understand the butterflies. But I can only imagine the butterflies for a wrestler, especially knowing you have that many people watching you. Now the fans at home, they hear me, but the fans in the arena don't hear what I say on the microphone. But the fans in the arena and the fans at home, they all see what these superstars do in the ring. And that's why I say you can only imagine the butterflies in their stomachs, as they walk to the ring, as they're performing in the match. And so now we've got James Anderson versus Darrell, the final pre-show match of the night, before Blood and Glory begins. And I'm liking this. I'm liking the way that this is going, and I'm glad that Die Hard decided to give the okay on his developmental program. And as you see here, James Anderson, beautiful swinging neck breaker there, and now James Anderson getting some momentum. Oh, and a big front flip kick there, and now James Anderson quick on the offense, keeping it going in his favor. But just like that, Darrell able to turn the tables and get it back into his favor. And now it looks like Darrell may be, just pacing himself here and dishing out some pain to James Anderson. And the thing is, I have my picks of who I'd like to win or who I want to win this match between James Anderson and Darrell. But either way, I won't be upset if either one of these young men won. Regardless of who wins, I'll still be very happy. Into the cover here from Darrell. Only a 1 count on the young James Anderson. And James Anderson tried with a wild kick there. He did not land with that kick. But you got to believe if he would have landed with that kick, that probably would have hurt quite a bit. And now James Anderson using some basic wrestling skill, kind of like a show-off here, doing that side headlock on the ground. Very impressive, to say the least. And now James Anderson, Tiger suplex with the bridge. Only a 1 count for James Anderson. And now, like I said, all 4 of these young men that have been on this pre-show so far, I have faith in all 4 of these young men. I think that all 4 of them could do great. And as you see Darrell there, that quick reverse neck breaker. And now Darrell he's looking like he's gaining control. And that's huge, because if you can maintain control in your match, then you will be able to perform very, very well. And right now, Darrell, that sidewalk slam from the top rope there. And now Darrell springboards into a big, into the chest of James Anderson there with a drop kick. And now Darrell looks like he's looking for the sharpshooter. He's got the sharpshooter locked in on James Anderson. Will James Anderson tap out? Will he make it to the ropes? I don't know. And it looks like James Anderson slid out there, so Darrell was unable to capitalize on the submission hold. And a beautiful belly to back there from James Anderson. And Anderson just kicked Darrell to the outside. Anderson springboard missile drop kick from the inside of the ring to the outside. And that's what I say about these young developmental talents. Although they may be developmental talents, they are still trained professionals. This is just a company that they're currently working with, and that's the way it is. None of these young men should ever be considered a bad superstar or a bad wrestler, because none of them are. They all have honed their skill. They all have honed their craft. They are all good enough. And as you saw there, James Anderson savvy enough to sidestep that crossbody, and a beautiful standing drop kick there from James Anderson. And now Anderson, another beautiful standing drop kick, using his long legs there as a weapon, and that's impressive. That's very impressive, and it's important to be able to use your body as a weapon. And we see many superstars do that, but it's such a great tool and weapon to have when you can throw your body around like that. And now, big running side kick there from Darrell. That might be it. I think Anderson might be out. I mean, the kick there may have lost some teeth. Hooks the far leg. 1, 2. Only a 2 count for Darrell. And I honestly I think if Darrell would have pinned him a little bit sooner, I think that would have been it. James Anderson looked like he was out. And now a big Asai moonsault using the third rope as a springboard mechanism into the cover. 1, 2. Only a 2 count for James Anderson. And that was a very, very low kick. And again that kick. And like I said, that wild kick, it definitely has some impact on it. And now Anderson has Darrell on the apron, runs in springboard triangle drop kick there to the outside. And now what's Anderson, as you saw, Anderson was taunting. Anderson hitting the ropes. Is he gonna go for it here? No, he thought about it, but he stopped. And now Darrell back into the ring, into a standing tie-up here. Darrell and Anderson. This is becoming a very exciting pre-show matchup here. It's very fast-paced. It's not very slow-paced. I'm not taking anything away from the first pre-show match, but this matchup is it's pretty high octane for it to be a pre-show match. And the fans are really getting into this, and that's good. And James Anderson here was starting with a flurry of strikes, but Darrell able to weather the storm and with a big counter here with a quick duck under and catching James Anderson, big spine buster there. And now James Anderson looking for that sharpshooter again. Anderson is locked in that sharpshooter. He's trying to crawl to the ropes, but Terry Gates in position here trying to count this submission. And this is Anderson he's almost to the ropes, but he's not quite there. Technically that should be a rope break. He did hit the ropes, but Terry Gates shook it off and said no, and James Anderson able to power out. Anderson runs in, big side wheel kick there. And now Anderson getting some momentum off of the reversal of that submission hold. And Anderson with that front face suplex. And now wait a second, what is James Anderson looks like he's setting up something. I'm not sure what he's doing. Anderson springboards, misses with that kick. And now Darrell able to capitalize. Big running drop kick in the corner there. And now Darrell, another big drop kick right to the face. And now Darrell, the trifecta of drop kicks into the skull, into the cover here. 1, 2, almost a 3 count there for Darrell, as James Anderson trying to keep something going, or trying to get something going. And now Darrell, as you see, Anderson slapped him and then started taunting, but Anderson just got smacked right on his head. 2, 3, and Darrell picks up a very impressive win on the pre-show of Blood and Glory. And that is exciting, ladies and gentlemen. That's very, very exciting. I didn't expect that to happen the way that it did, but it happened. And we're just we're just a few minutes away, ladies and gentlemen. We're about 30 minutes away, and Blood and Glory will be live. And I'm excited. I know you're excited. I know the guys that were just on the pre-show, I know they're excited. They've been practicing, and they got to perform, but now they get to go to the back and watch the show with the TPP superstars, and that's a big deal. It's big for a lot of people involved, because tonight is a make or break situation for people like Craig Hazard. If he can't beat Extreme tonight, then Extreme will become the TPP champion. And of course, I'm not saying that Extreme doesn't deserve the title, but I don't personally want to see that happen. I enjoy having Craig Hazard as our current TPP champion. I enjoy watching him come out to the ring. I enjoy seeing the fans get behind him and show him support. And everybody that's on Frontline, everybody that's in TPP Entertainment, they realize how big of an event this is. And with that being said, let's go over the matches that are going to happen tonight. Atlas versus Titan. For those of you that have been living under a rock and haven't been seeing this is going to be the clash of the 300-pound men. Both of these men almost 7 feet tall. Atlas almost 300 pounds. Titan 317 pounds. They're going to clash, no disqualification. And then, of course, we have former tag team partners. Former number one contenders for the tag team titles, Anthony Guerrero Jr. versus Jamie Hall. Anthony Guerrero Jr.'s best friend. His best friend. They're going to be in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. No disqualifications, no holds barred. And then, of course, we have the number one contender match. Melinda Guerrero, the COO, recently added Jimmy B. Martinez to this triple threat match. And now it's going to be Jerry Graham and Jimmy B. Martinez against Brick Wall in a triple threat. I don't like Brick Wall's chances tonight. I can almost assure a victory for A&D. And then, of course, the newcomer, Orion James, facing Phoenix for the Adrenaline Championship in a TLC match. Phoenix openly challenged Orion James on episode 17, not even 48 hours ago. And Orion James happily accepted. I'm hoping he takes the title. And then, of course, the Internet Championship. Bryson looking to capture the gold, although he's took the past month off. He's looking to capture the gold from Damian Gamer. But Damian Gamer's ready to give a game over one more time to Bryson and retain his lovely Internet Championship and maintain his spot as one of the most popular guys in TPP. And then, of course, the main event of the evening, Extreme, his final opportunity here to take the title off of Craig Hazard. And this is right up Extreme's alley. This is an Extreme Rules Falls Count Anywhere matchup. Anything goes. We've seen Extreme powerbomb people through tables. We've seen things of all kinds of nature. And so the question remains, can Extreme get the job done tonight? Will Extreme be able to weather the storm of Craig Hazard? Because if you watched Urban Warfare, Craig Hazard laid the sauce on Extreme like a beautiful barbecue steak. And so for Extreme, like I said, this is I don't want to say it like this, but this is a do or die situation for Extreme tonight. Because you already know that management is upset with Extreme, especially Diehard. Diehard has not been a stranger of that in our creative meetings. He talks about how Extreme is supposed to be this 280-pound monster, and yet he somehow, some way, is losing to somebody who weighs almost 100 pounds less than him. But Craig Hazard, he weighs 225 pounds, so it's not a full 100-pound difference. Diehard not so good with the math anymore as he's getting older. But you got to kind of, in a sense, you kind of have to agree with Diehard. Why can Extreme not put away Craig Hazard? The fans love Craig Hazard. I love Craig Hazard. The TPP universe, we all love Craig Hazard being the TPP champion. However, at this stage in Extreme's career, he should be able to put Craig Hazard away, and he cannot do it. And nobody knows why. Nobody's really sure why he can't do this. And so it remains to be seen. Will tonight be the same as it has always been for Extreme? Is this going to be another shortcoming? This past year for Extreme has not been a year that Extreme will probably want to remember. A couple of years ago, Extreme very successful with his career, multi-time tag team champion. And Craig Hazard, given his opportunity to become the TPP champion, and this young man is running with it. He is doing everything in his power, and he is just tearing it down. So much support from the fans, so much support from management. I think the only person in management not singing the tune of Craig Hazard right now is Die Hard. Even people that you wouldn't expect to say congratulations to Craig Hazard are saying congratulations to Craig Hazard. The only two people right now that aren't are Extreme and Die Hard. And if Extreme wants to prove that he's got what it takes, then he needs to prove it to Craig Hazard tonight. He needs to prove it at Blood and Glory, because if he doesn't, we don't know what Die Hard will do. We don't know what will happen to Extreme. Would Die Hard allow Extreme one more title opportunity? It might not happen. Die Hard, as of late, has been very unpredictable. He's been doing things that you wouldn't necessarily expect out of him. Last month, we got to see him compete in a match. And ever since he did that match, he's been walking around on Cloud 9 thinking that he still has what it takes to get into the ring. I don't think that would be wise for Die Hard to try to do that. But who am I to judge? I'm only a journalist. I'm only a commentator for TPP Entertainment. I've only, personally helped Die Hard numerous times to the backstage area after the show went off the air while he was laying on the mat, unable to get up. So, I don't know. I don't know if you are watching this, Die Hard, I don't know if my opinion matters too much to you. But coming from the guy that calls matches for your company, coming from that guy, please do not try to get back in the ring anytime soon. It's not that we don't enjoy seeing you step into the ring. Your match at Urban Warfare was phenomenal, but I personally do not think you have another TPP title run in you. I just want to get that out there. I just want to let that be known. And a lot of people say that because Die Hard is my boss and I'm always going to sugarcoat things. Unfortunately for Die Hard, he may be my boss. His name may be on the check that gets signed. However, my contract was signed with Melinda Guerrero. When she brought me back, she told me I was allowed to say whatever I had to say, and Melinda Guerrero feels the same way about her husband. She does not want to see him hurt himself anymore. Die Hard, you have lived a fruitful wrestling career. You have made millions and millions of dollars. Millions. Be happy with what you have. You have a son that wrestles now. I don't agree with his current status, as he seems to have total disdain for the fans. So hopefully tonight, Jamie Hall slaps a little bit of sense into Anthony Guerrero Jr. And then, of course, in the triple threat match, the number one contender match, that's going to be huge because Brickwall is at a big disadvantage here. Now, Brickwall, yes, he does hold pinfall victories over both Jimmy B. Martinez and Jerry Graham. However, the problem is this is very high stakes. And it's been a couple of years since Brickwall has been in a very high stakes match. At the last time that Brickwall was in a very, very high stakes match was the Breakdown Rumble about 6 months ago, or 7 months ago actually. And he got eliminated almost as soon as he got into the ring. So that's why I say I just don't like Brickwall's odds tonight. I mean, whether you love Brickwall or you hate him, you can't take anything away from him. He's been TPP through and through. He's never said screw TPP. He's never stepped away. He's always been there, and he's always tried to position himself at the right time and in the right spot. But tonight, I just don't think that's the right position. I think he's going to be in the lonely position of neutral tonight, and I'm not sure which A&D member will win, but I'm just going to say that an A&D member is going to win tonight for the simple fact that it is 2-on-1 against Brickwall. No matter how you look at it, I don't think Melinda Guerrero booked the match to be spiteful towards Brickwall. As far as I know, she's still very chatty with Brickwall in the back, and it's just the fact of, both Jerry Graham and Jimmy B. Martinez, both do deserve an opportunity to compete for the number one contendership for the Internet Championship. Now, if by some stroke of luck Brickwall were to win tonight, that'd be spectacular. Because that would prove me wrong. I wouldn't have to then say I doubt that Brickwall would win. I'd get to say I was wrong. Brickwall pulled it off. He pulled off an impressive victory, and that's great. And then, of course, the Mexican superstar that speaks Spanish and English when he speaks on the microphone is facing the newcomer, Orion James. Orion James, impressive debut victory. He tapped out the current Adrenaline champion. The Adrenaline champion was not happy about that, and so he challenged Orion James. And then, just on episode 17, Orion James tapped out Bryson. He made Bryson tap out. That was huge. And then, of course, Atlas and Titan. Two big behemoths are going to kick off Blood and Glory. Titan, he wants to be the biggest dog in the yard. And right now, Atlas is the second biggest dog in the yard. A couple of weeks ago, they did a test of strength contest. And Atlas, the young Atlas, 23-year-old Atlas, 295 pounds, was able to go toe-for-toe with, or toe-to-toe with Titan. That was huge. That was a huge deal. And Titan didn't take too kind of that, and he attacked Atlas, immediately while Atlas was taunting to the fans. And then we switch gears to the last mention of Bryson and Damian Gamer, the Internet Championship. This has been brewing since the relaunch of Frontline. That's how long this has been brewing for. Bryson interjected himself. The first tag team match he was in, it was an elimination tag match. It came down to Bryson and Damian Gamer. Bryson was so close to winning. But even with as close as he was, Damian Gamer still weathered the storm and hit a game over, and then the match was over. Just like that. The match was over for Bryson. Well, then, we fast forward a little bit. We'll go to Urban Warfare. Match of the night. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. Match of the night. Bryson versus Damian Gamer in the cage. Damian Gamer picked up a huge win. A very unexpected huge win. First ever Internet champion. Holding the title with pride. Then, we fast forward just a little bit more. Bryson, nowhere to be seen on the show for almost a month. Damian Gamer left an open challenge for a last man standing match. We didn't find out until recently that Bryson accepted it. And then, of course, like I was saying earlier, the main event of the evening, Craig Hazard versus Extreme. Extreme has to do something, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to do something because Craig Hazard is on fire. He is on a roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost time. We are about 17 and a half minutes away from Blood and Glory beginning. So I'm being given the cue. I got to get ready to head out to the ringside area and study my notes as the event is getting ready to begin. So on behalf of everybody from Fullscreen, everybody from Creator X, everybody in TPP Entertainment, guys, I'm Christopher Billings, and I will see you guys in just a couple of minutes.